welcome to another session of Informally Formal. Every week we bring you very exciting new guests, but today's guest for me is extra special. Someone that I have known over the years. As a matter of fact, ever since he started in Bangladesh as the ambassador of Philippines to Bangladesh, His Excellency Vicente Vivencio T. Bandillo. Very warm welcome to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hakim, Akber, my friend. This is a rare opportunity for me to be with your program, considering the fact that I will, in a number of hours, I'll be flying away from this beautiful country.
Right. Excellency, I thank you so very much, and I'm sure my viewers thank you as well for making time at the eve of your departure from Bangladesh. And I would like to note here that you have been one of the longest serving ambassadors in Bangladesh with over 6 years, I believe.
6 years and 8 months, actually.
Wow, so another 4 months and it would have been 7 years, right?
Yes.
Right. So, Excellency, our today's topic, really, what we want to talk about is your experience here in Bangladesh. All of it, the good, the bad, we want to hear everything. So, Excellency, let's start off by asking you first and foremost, of course, your stint here, one of the longest stints as an ambassador of any country in Bangladesh. What are some of your experiences? Would you care to share with us, Excellency?
Oh, well, actually, with such a very open-ended question, it's difficult to, determine where to start. Well, first of all, let me share with you the reason why I chose Bangladesh. I am a culture person, and I have been aware of the cultural achievements of the country in poetry, philosophy, music, even in theological explorations. And this, by the way, I come from the academe. I joined the Foreign Service when I was already 35. And so I was teaching English literature for quite a while. And when I saw the opportunity that I will come to this land of rivers and poets and mystics, I grabbed the opportunity to do so. Anyway, going back to my experience here, I would like first to mention the similarities between the Philippines and Bangladesh. There was no shock for me when I came here. The people generally or practically the same. The way we feel, the way we relate, being very friendly. And that is the basic premise of my experience in people-to-people interaction here in Bangladesh. Of course, I would say that in Bangladesh, there are also so many expats here, but it is my interaction with the Bangladeshis that have defined my stay, my going to be memories of this place. Yes.
Right. Ambassador Bandillo, over the years, we have talked about our mutual experiences. And you and I have also, again, like you mentioned, we have something in common, that I started my career teaching as well, if you recall. So yeah, one of the things that has amazed me in the years that I've known you is you are not only a statesman, of course, representing your country, but at the same time a poet too. Now, that not very many of my viewers may know about. Would you care to tell us a little bit about that side of your venture?
Thank you very much, Akber. You see, I don't want to offend my country. I don't want to say anything bad about my assignment here, but deep inside me, I consider myself a poet first and a diplomat second. And I don't think the Philippine Foreign Service should, begrudge me for that. in the first place, artists and poets, we should have more of them as diplomats. We have too many lawyers, you know, too many economists and people who think in terms of literalness, things that are very literal. We need a little imagination in dealing with other countries, and that's why I feel that I'm not outside this thing, and that this comes to me as a natural expression of who I am, basically. Now, in the Philippines, in my part of the Philippines, in Cebu, where I come from, everybody knows me as a poet. Not those who know me as a poet. Very few people know or even care about the fact that I am representing the Philippines in other parts of the world. It's an extra thing. And at the same time, among my colleagues in the Foreign Service, I am a little special because I have something that they don't have. So I am the best in both worlds. And just last year, I got a recognition from the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, among a few other people, for achievement in fields outside of work. Our new Secretary of Foreign Affairs is a writer himself. He's a literary person, and he realizes that you know, it makes for a boring diplomat if you speak only of diplomacy all the time, of politics and trade. So he recognized those who have done other things aside from the actual brass tacks of diplomacy. So I'm very happy, thankful to my boss for recognizing me for the little things I do on the side.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I see exactly what you're talking about, because sometimes, you know, people try to box in certain things, right? Engineers try to think in terms of engineering. Doctors think in terms of medicine. You know, diplomats would try to think in terms of diplomacy. So I couldn't agree with you more. Having a multifaceted outlook gives you such a broad overview sometimes. That helps in diplomacy too, I suppose. So, Excellency, let me ask you now, when you first came to Bangladesh, and over the period of years that you've been here, did any of what when you first landed here, did anything change over the years in terms of your thinking?
Well, if there was any change from my initial impressions, it was simply a deepening of what I have first observed. I have to, well, I don't know if I should apologize, but I came here as a diplomat that I cannot help but take in the country as an artist, as a poet, you know. So the landscape, for instance, I admire the way people rush here and there, you know, the sea of humanity. I find a lot of fascination in these things. Of course, I do my homework. I study my trade relations. I also study all those United Nations cooperation and all that. I do all these things, but for me, this is the day job. This is the things that I do for a living. But the real thing that really impressed me, like, while some people might see something that may not be pleasing to the eye, in my case, it pleases me. I love the humanity at its most basic and at its most genuine, you know. And I see a lot of that here with people from all parts of life. As a diplomat, I have the privilege of knowing the privileged people here also. And at the same time, I can see everything, all sides of life here. And that is what fascinates me, you know, the contrast and the colors. The colors are an objective correlative of the richness of the country. There are many different colors. Colors as in real colors, chromes. But these colors, for me, represent the many facets that life manifests itself in this part of the world.
Right, right. Excellency, you know, over the years, we have talked about the many similarities between Bangladesh and the beautiful land of Philippines and its people. Many similarities. In particular, I would say the family unit, the family bond, the love for the family unity. Many of those things are very, very similar. Is there anything that stands out that is different between Philippines and Bangladesh?
I could not really see major differences. And as a matter of fact, yesterday, when I called on the president, he told me, when I took off my mask, I said, you know, if you walk around here, no one will think that you are Filipino. They will think you are Bangladeshi. and we're just talking there of the physical thing. How much more about the spiritual, the springboard of who we are. That is, I think, very similar. And zeroing in on the family, I think our family values are the same.
Right.
Although perhaps in the Philippines, we have been kind of influenced by the West, maybe a little bit ahead of you. I think we have more people who are embracing Western values than here. That is what I think. Although here also I could see the influence, which is the way things happen. You know, we don't live in a vacuum. These things come and go, and especially with the internet and all that, we have all these influences. But the way, for instance, when you speak of respect for elders, that is very much similar in the Philippines as well here, as well as, of course, as we know, other parts of Asia. As Asians, we perceive things on another level simultaneously as seeing these things on a literal level. That is how I look at it. Something which I find easy to see here. You know, I've been assigned to the West also. I've spent 7 years in Germany, and Germans are very fine people, but they're a little bit literal in many things. They are very, well, it is a virtue, like punctuality. Punctuality is almost a virtue, but sometimes it's taking things too literally. You know, I think that in the Philippines we have what is known as Filipino time. Filipino time means you know, you don't have to very. But these things are negative things in terms of the way the world advances. But that actually speaks of a philosophy where time is not linear. You know, we experience things where you know, the past and the present and the future exist at any given time. That's a bit hard, but that is that kind of almost like a mumbo jumbo statement in a way defines the way I feel is shared between the Bangladeshis and the Filipinos.
Right. We are somewhat little more emotional rather than being very statistical or very practical all the time. We're a little bit more emotional too, wouldn't you say?
Indeed. In fact, that is, I would say, a very stark difference between, you know, the Orient and the Occident. Generally speaking, we are more on the, you know, heart rather than the head, as somebody puts it. Our heart dominates our head, not the other way around.
Right.
When I am made to choose, I would follow the heart rather than my head, you see. And I think that is something which many Asians you know, feel how they respond to these things.
Right. Exactly. You know, one of the things you were saying, Ambassador, earlier is Philippines perhaps a little bit more westernized than Bangladesh. There is a good side to it as well, because, you know, like that is one of the reasons, I would say, the Filipinos speak such good English that the BPO industry in Philippines has flourished. And number one and number two in voice as well as non-voice, you know, in the world, neck to neck with India. So that's a positive side to also having that English language capacity. So the country is doing so very well. And that, as you know, Excellency, over the years, as and by the way, many of my viewers may not know that you and I also have another special relationship with me being the president of Bangladesh Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So we have taken quite a few trips to Philippines, besides our engagement here in Bangladesh, of course. And we talked about this business side of things as well. So Excellency, wouldn't you say that from the business side, we have worked quite diligently over the last few years, and we intend to continue doing that in the coming years to bring our two countries together in terms of trade and investments and what have you, and take from each other's strengths?
Yes, I think it's right. It's unfortunate for me that in a way I came earlier in our relationship, because I can only see a real growth in terms of trade and investment within the Philippines and Bangladesh. It has been gathering, you know, strength, as you could see from the efforts of the BPCCI and my little contribution to it. But now it appears to be ready for, to go full blast.
Excellency, in particular, of course, we want to take from Philippines in which Philippines is good. Like, for example, you know, in the hospitality industry, we have talked about business process outsourcing. Filipino nurses are known all over the world, so we can take from that. And then in various other areas. Now, from the Bangladesh side, of course, ready-made garments, pharmaceuticals, jute products. So there's quite a bit. And I agree with you that I wish if you had stayed a little longer, because we did the hard work to setting up a stage. We really did hard work. As a matter of fact, even this March, we were there together at the Department of Trade and Investments, doing the hard work. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think the stage is set to where now it should take off in the next few years.
Yes, that's true. And also, like you mentioned, the nursing industry. I am very proud of our nurses. They are, charming, caring, not to mention good looking, and really are among the best in the profession. And especially now in the current pandemic, they are at the forefront. They are actually, and the Philippines is very open to sharing this in level of competence, either way, of maybe sending of nurses to the Philippines for training, or sending some nurses here to do the training in Bangladesh. Either of the two modalities are already under study. During our discussion yesterday with the Foreign Secretary, that was one of the more important discussions about setting the modality for all this cooperation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Excellency, also the fact that the Philippines is such a beautiful land with thousands of islands and beautiful beaches. And of course, needless to say, beautiful, friendly people. And I've been there many times, and I suppose, I'm going to continue to visit, regardless of my, whether I am leading BPCCI or not. I will continue to visit the Philippines as a, beautiful people, beautiful land. And of course, Excellency, you as my friend, you're there too, so I'll come and visit you as well, and your family.
That will be a treat. That will be a treat indeed. Yeah, we'll go. Yes. In the next few months, or even after I retire, I think we can still continue our sometimes endless discussion about just anything. I remember I can talk to you about just anything, any topic. It
Right.
seems to be interesting to both of us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Excellency, it is, I have to tell you last, but certainly not the least, is from my side as a citizen of Bangladesh, as well as the president of Bangladesh Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Sir, it's been an honor working with you. I would like to thank you for over and beyond what you did in bringing our two countries together. Many a times on short notice, you would take a visit with us, which you didn't have to, but you did. So I would like to give you my heartfelt thank you and a safe trip, bon voyage, to you and your family, sir. Happy tidings, happy journey, and a great life ahead. I would like to wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Akber, my friend. It's been the pleasure on my part, on my family. I am sure that Bangladesh will always stay in our hearts, and especially friends like you. Thank you.
With those words, once again, with my warm greetings and thank you once again, sir, for your time. I'd like to thank our audience for joining us for this session. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Stay safe. With that, I sign off. Bye-bye.